I'm David Johnson with Johnson Nursery.
And I'm Guy Hartsell with Star Roses and Plants. I'm the sales manager for North Carolina and Tennessee.
So Star Roses is a massive company. It's national, right?
It's a national company. We are a breeder and a brokerage company, so we have a lot of our own intellectual property as well, and we work with 40 to 50 different suppliers across the country.
And even more across the world, I would assume.
We do. We've got breeders in China, and Europe, and Australia, and South Africa. So yeah, a little bit of all of it.
And here we are in Willard, North Carolina, and Star has a big presence here. We grow 10,000 knockouts and 33,000 drift roses. Right now, we are in double knockout red. This is one of the early ones, I believe. Is that right?
This is one of the early ones. Yeah, I think it was the third introduction after the original one was introduced right at 25 years ago. We are celebrating the 25th anniversary
25
of
years.
Knockout Roses this year. Yeah.
That's amazing. So I've been in business for 45 years, so I may have been around for much of this run. I don't remember when we first did it.
Yeah, and the breeder, Will Rattler, I mean, he started out as a young kid, really involved with breeding roses, and this has been his life work, and so we're celebrating Knockout and Will Rattler at the same time.
That's great. So we have certainly benefited. Lots of cultivars. The one thing we want to talk about just a little bit is care of knockouts.
Yes, sir.
And what I found is they are disease resistant, but nothing's perfect. And this is August in North Carolina, humid, wet, rainy, dry. So for a homeowner, what we're recommending is to spray these about once a week with something, our personal one is called Be Safe. It's a sesame seed oil. It's very friendly to the environment, but it's not 100% necessary. What do you think about care for roses at your home site?
So, you know, down here in the Southeast, we got to deal with a lot of weather changes and humidity. So the main thing with knockout roses or any roses, you know, early spring, you got to worry about a little bit of downy mildew and powdery mildew. So just a general nice fungicide for that in the spring. And in the summertime, you know, with the knockouts, they are highly and extremely disease resistant to most things. So you're not going to have to worry about rust. You're not going to have to worry about black spot and some of those other leaf fungal diseases. But, you know, with the stress of our summers, we do recommend having some type of rotation. And then for insects, it's just going to be your occasional aphid and Japanese beetle. So that Be Safe you were talking about.
It seems to work. It seems to work. And then knockouts grow big. So my personal recommendation, you're going to confirm or deny this, is in the end of winter, probably February for us in the South, I suggest you cut these down to about 12 inches and reduce to about 5 to 7 canes.
Correct.
It's going to come out real strong in the spring, and that way you won't get this big, massive knockout.
Yeah, so there's a little bit of misconception about roses in general. You know, when we release the mature height, we're talking about actually doing that practice.
Right.
You know, reducing the canes. You can go about 50% to 3/4 of the plant, reduce the canes in height, and that's going to give you your average height the following year. And then make sure you clean up any of your cuttings and leaf debris so you don't carry any harvesting pest eggs and stuff like that through the winter for spring as well.
Good stuff. And then heavy feeders. We would recommend feeding these early in the winter before they start to grow, and then probably around October, November. You tell me, when would you do your second feeding, or do you recommend a third?
Typically, what we recommend, you know, for an average landscape, because of the weather and the amount of rain that we get in the summers, is you can start feeding in July or early August, and that's going to give it through the summer and give you that nice fall flush and bloom cycle in the fall as well.
That's great. Full sun, it's tough as it can be. Lots of cultivars. The newest one for us this year was an orange one.
Yes. So we came out with, it was released this year, it was Orange Glow. It's very similar to Coral Knockout, which has been on the market for several years, but Orange Glow it's got a really pretty bright orange color, and when the sun hits it, I mean, it looks like a sunrise. I mean, it is very bright, very vibrant. The biggest difference between that and Coral Knockout is Coral Knockout is going to have more of this maroon burgundy new flush of growth on it. With Orange Glow, it's going to be a really clean, bright green growth. So you'll have that orange bloom against that nice flush of green new growth on it, so it really stands out.
And personal testimony that orange glow is good. We have none to show you. We've sold them all, so must be a good one.
It's one of the quickest ones to repeat bloom too. So like in production for you, when you're doing your cycle pruning, they're going to be one of the first ones to rebound and start blooming for market. And in the landscape, if you have to do any type of summer pruning or clean up after a storm or something like that, it's going to rebound and start blooming for you really quickly.
All right, fantastic. Let's go check out some drift roses. Moved over to the midst of some red drift roses. Now, Johnson Nursery is now in the midst of what's called a cycle prune, where we prune a lot of our roses this time of year. They're going to flush out in about 6 weeks to come back to massive color. But so drift has been around for about 12 years?
I would say 11 or 12 years, yes sir.
And lots of great cultivars in drift. You said ground cover. Would you call it a ground cover?
Yeah, it's kind of more of what we'd call a ground cover type rose. You know, it's smaller than the shrub roses like Knockout, so it gives you a little bit more landscape use. You know, you can use them up around the foundation a little bit easier, you know, out by the driveway and mailbox and stuff like that. You know, they're only going to stay about 2 to 3 feet.
2 to 3 feet high.
Variety. And gives you a little bit more color palette option as well.
And they're great in mass plantings.
Very.
And so lots of different colors, not as big as a Knockout, not as big growing. The flowers are about half the size of a Knockout.
You know, depending on the variety, you know, red drift is going to have these little more cup-like flowers and more, you know, more in clusters.
Okay.
Some of the other ones a little bit more open, a little bit less clusters, but, you know, a little bit bigger bloom. So it just really depends on what you're looking for and style.
Now, I think you can keep a drift blooming. Well, they'll start Aprilish.
You know, depending on our weather, they can bloom as early as end of March.
End of March.
Typically 1st of April, and they'll kind of cycle on and off, but they'll go all up to the first real frost that we have.
So it's a very tough plant, just like Knockouts. Tough as nails, heavy feeder. We also recommend that in the middle of winter, the end of winter, go ahead and shape these up a little bit.
Yeah, it's a really good idea for any rose that you have, just to kind of remove some of the height off, clean it up the center of it, get it cleaned out, and that way when it comes back in the spring, it's just going to be nice, full, and flush for you.
Now, lots of cool cultivars. In my opinion, you've got the best one coming. I could be wrong, maybe I shouldn't have said that, but it's called Scarlet.
Yep.
And I saw that at your facility in Pennsylvania. It's amazing, huge flowers, covered in flowers. Am I right? Is it going to be one of the best ones?
It's definitely going to be one of the best ones, I think. It's going to be one of our new 2026 releases, so you'll be able to find it next spring, summer. It's going to be darker red than red drift, more open bloom. You'll see the yellow center to it, but it's just almost like fire engine red. So it's going to be a lot darker red. And from all the trialing we've done, it is proven to be the most disease resistant out of all of them too. So
I'm excited.
You're going to have that increased disease resistance also.
We didn't even put it in trial, but I've convinced my production team that we're going to put it right in production. It's against the rules, but once I saw it in Pennsylvania, I'm like, all right, we're going all in on this one. So that'll be available, probably from us, available late spring next year, but looking forward to it. I've got a few more roses to show you today, something a little different for us. All right.
Sounds good.
We're now back in the gardens. We've invited Karen Rue to be with us. She's our horticulturist for the gardens. These are trial roses that Johnson Nursery put in a trial for this year from Star. We've got 3 to talk about. This first one is called Top Cream. I'm impressed. Karen, what do you think?
It is amazing. The leaves are clean, which is
almost
unheard of in roses. There's really no yellow leaves, etc. And this has a beautiful fragrance.
And it's got buds.
It does. And it's still blooming, and it's August. And it's got clean foliage. So this is one of our European breeders that we work with, Milan. They do a great job in the rose world with different breeding and stuff like that. But what we're trying to do as a company is bring hybrid tea roses to the market that's more disease resistant, especially for us here in the Southeast with all our rain and heat and humidity. Top Cream is more of your old-fashioned style hybrid tea roses. So you can use these as cut flowers, so you can enjoy them outside but bring them inside and use as well. Very strong, kind of like a pear fragrance, so you're going to get that pear scent profile to this one. It will get fairly large on you, 5 to 6 feet, But that's also great because then you got the long stems to use to bring them inside and use for bouquets or, you know, however you need to.
Oh, that's great. We'll be using this one next year in production. Now, right beside it is one called Sweet Mademoiselle. This is also a hybrid tea. And remember, this is August 5th. So these plants have been through 5 weeks of horrid humidity and heat. It still looks pretty good.
It still looks good. This is one of my favorites of the hybrid teas that we've released in the past couple years. Really nice fresh fruit scent to it, so you'll have that nice fragrance that you can bring inside. Depending on the weather in the springtime, before we start getting all the rain, it is just very strong scented. I mean, you can come out here and walk by it and smell it. Very clean foliage, really nice peachy pink apricot bloom to it. I'm really impressed with this one.
What do you think, Karen?
We're really excited about these roses, because to be able to grow roses and not have to be out here every week
Right.
spraying and doing other things, this is just absolutely amazing. And the fragrance that you brought back to the roses is awesome.
That's awesome. All right, we got one more. It's my favorite. Now, this is a Floribunda. This is one that I'm so excited about, called Garden Flame. It's had this multicolor bloom for, I think it started back in April, May, and I'm excited. Karen, what do you think?
When we put it in the garden, it looks absolutely amazing. It's the one, because of the color variegation with the yellows and the reds that fade to all kinds of different colors.
Right.
Everyone is drawn to this. So you have done an outstanding rose.
Outstanding.
Yes. This also came from one of our European.
We got to go to Europe, Karen.
But this is just. It's a Floribunda style rose, so you're going to have that repeat blooming cycle all summer. This one is extremely disease resistant. I mean, we're looking at it here 1st of August in Willard, and it's clean as a whistle. But most roses, when they do change color profiles on the bloom, it normally lightens up. This is very unusual for it to actually darken.
Yes.
So if you can zoom in and see, you're going to have a yellow bud with some reddish orange outside petals, and as it opens, it'll be almost fully yellow, and then by day 3 and 4, it's going to completely turn almost dark red. So you have this whole multicolor profile on one shrub, which is really awesome.
And that's one of the exciting things that people have talked about, because they have looked at the color variation between the brand new buds and then what happens later.
Yep.
So I'm looking for all kinds of new roses from you.
Yes, we've
Oh,
got a lot
absolutely.
more coming down the pipe, but this is definitely one of my new favorites.
Well, these trials have been a big success for Johnson Nursery. We're adding at least 4. Next year we'll trial more, and we'll keep looking, keep listening. But thank you, Guy. Thank you, Karen. Very exciting.